that men have typically an issue with admitting anxiety, admitting fear, because we're told that when you have fear or experience anxiety, that somehow you're weak or you're weaker or something's wrong with you. And we want people to know that experiencing anxiety is okay. Absolutely. And there's a quote by Nelson Mandela that says, courage is not the absence of fear, but it's the ability to triumph over it. I feel
Absolutely.
like we've mentioned that particular saying before. Courage is not the absence of the fear or the absence of anxiety. And I'll even say this, that fear and anxiety really are synonyms, if you would. So if you hear fear, if you hear anxiety, so people will use those two words interchangeably, and which is okay. Just remember, anxiety is future-oriented fear response.
Yeah, that's important, because we may not, given any situation, we may not always be fearless, but we can be courageous. And so, that I'm reminded of in Joshua, what the Lord said to Joshua multiple times: be strong and courageous. Didn't say fear not in that time. He said be strong and courageous. There's some things you have to face. There's some things you'll have to deal with internally and externally. Because at the time he's assuming a new mantle of leadership. And he says, be strong and courageous. And so that's an important distinction in my prayer for somebody again today. What you have to face, you may not be facing it with fearlessly, but you can be facing it courageously.
Wow. Thank you. That's so helpful, Bishop, because when you look at just the male persona, and I'm careful not to just stereotype, but in particular, we're focusing and lasering in on men and male perspective. And one of the things that I've learned, I'm sure you've seen this, Bishop, in your practice in pastoring, that men have typically an issue with admitting anxiety, admitting fear, because we're told that when you have fear or experience anxiety, that somehow you're weak or you're weaker or something's wrong with you. And we want people to know that experiencing anxiety is okay, as we go back to the earlier statement we made. But yeah, that's so important. Thank you, because there are certain times where the fear may be eliminated so that we can move forward. But then there's some times where you have to go shake it in your boots, Bishop.
Yeah. And sometimes we can help ourselves by acknowledging that, because it's simply acknowledging that it's there. I'm a little anxious about what I got to do, but it's got to be done. That way I'm acknowledging it, but I'm not letting it overtake me. And so again, I'm doing it. I'm not necessarily doing it fearlessly. That would be a great ideal, but I am doing it courageously. Again, many times in Scripture, and I just found that to be interesting in my own times of study. There's many times in Scripture when God says, "Fear not, be fearless," but to Joshua he says, "Be courageous."
Wow.
And so same God situation. And so I think even from a posture of faith, there's time to there's okay to sometimes acknowledge I am feeling some slight anxiety about this. I'm feeling a little bit afraid. I am but this has got to be done, and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so I'm going to take courage and do what needs to be done. So it's not necessarily to be honest. And we have to have forums where we can be honest like that, even in our witness as believers, to say, you know what? I'm making this faith move and I'm not fearlessly making it, but I am making it courageously. I
Wow.
think I've talked to many persons for whom that is a very real part of their testimony. And as I move forward courageously, God shows himself to be faithful. But if I'm honest, when I stepped out there, it wasn't fearlessly, but it was courageously.
Wow, 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 wow. That's important. And I'm just going to add this little tidbit in for this particular episode as we're drawing this particular episode to a close. Is that when you are feeling that fear, you can sense it in your physical body and the physiological distress. And well, what does that feel like? And how do I know I'm experiencing that, Dr. Shepherd? Tight chest. Mhm.
Mhm.
You're racing. Your heart is racing, heart palpitations, if you would. Well, what's that? Where your heart is beating fast and it almost feels like it's coming out of your chest. Shortness of breath. But that tight chest is one of the more common symptoms that we feel. And one of the things you can do is to regulate your breathing. So when you are facing that situation where you are to be courageous, regulate your breathing. How do you regulate your breathing? Be conscious of how you're inhaling and exhaling, and be able to take time. Literally, it takes a couple minutes for you to sit down, feet flat on the floor, feel those toes, and close your eyes or keep them open, and monitor and measure the breaths that you take in and out. And just doing that simple exercise, I have seen where the distress level of persons will decrease dramatically. Actually, some people more than others, but wanted to give that little bit of a practical tip for those who are listening, who are watching, because you are going to face those situations where the fear will leave. But as Bishop also said, there will be situations where the fear is going to remain there, and you need to be able to regulate regulate your physical body, and its response as you walk through this situation that you may be facing that is causing great anxiety. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Bishop.
No,
But
no,
I wanted
thank
to.
you for bringing up that physiological piece. I mean, even theologically, that's the significance of the theological term fear and trembling, right?
Hmm.
One is an emotion, the other one is physiological.
Mhm.
And what it's meant to imply, without going too far down the theological lane, if you will, but what it's meant to imply is that there is, even in worship, there's this sense of being in the presence of God, and it certainly means reverence. It
Mhm.
certainly means that. It means reverence, but reverence brings with it a sense of awareness. Theologian called it the mysterium tremendum. If you want to get real nerdy about it, but what it meant is that in the presence of God, there's this sense of, I'm drawn to this incredible presence because this incredible presence fulfills me, and it's in Him that I live, move, and have my being. But at the same time, there's a part of my humanity that says, He's holy, He's other than. I'm in the presence, and there's a part of me that cannot abide peacefully in this presence.
Mhm.
No flesh can glory in this presence. And that is a feeling, and you acknowledge that. And so the whole concept of fear and trembling really does point out that idea of the connection between my state of mind and my body, trying to give me indications of what's going on, and acknowledging that is very helpful, because acknowledging our emotions is a very important part of our wellness. To at least acknowledge it. That's the point. It's like ignoring a signal. It's like ignoring your oil light.
Right.
It's trying to let you know that something's going on. And
Mhm.
if you acknowledge it and address it, it'll go off.
Right.
Similar idea to this physiological thing to say, hey, your mind is in a certain place. And so again, it's just fascinating to me, Dr. Shepherd. I know we're wrapping up, but that connection between mind and body, we are really, truly, fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yeah, absolutely. I encourage you, share these episodes. Go back. I encourage you to share it with the man in your life, share it with the female in your life, the women in your life. These episodes are helpful, can be utilized in your various studies, within your own household, even within your own faith organization. So reach out to us if you want Bishop or I to come and we can further delve into how to be able to be a help in this area. Because let me tell you, anxiety is real. People are struggling with it, and it takes more than just medication to be able to handle it. And we're going to get into some of those other aspects and dive deeper into this because there's a lot to unpack here. So we want people to know Spirit and Mind is on it. We're hearing you. We're going to tackle these issues, and we want people to be able to manage the anxiety that's occurring in their lives. Bishop?
Again, thank you for sharing this time with us. And by the grace of God, we look forward to seeing you next time right here on Spirit and Mind.
Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at Spirit in Mind, and we're also on Instagram at Spirit in Mind Live. Join us next time for a new episode of Spirit in Mind.